Hi everyone, another pick a card reading. Angelina, Sparkling Diva. 3 cards. This reading is for 2021, what you can expect. And I know it's a little bit early, but I've actually seen readings like this over a month ago, I think. And it's almost December, so yeah, we are getting to the end of 2020, right? Almost, yeah, anyhow. 3 choices. The number 1 is a honey opal from Africa. I think Tanzania, but I'm not entirely certain. Numbers 2 is sunrise sodalite. And numbers 3 is Turritella agate. So if you make your choice, then we're gonna get going with the reading. Right, numbers 1. We'll have to get into it a little bit because there's so many cards. Unbelievable. I don't know how many tarot cards I have for you. 9 or 10 or something. Unbelievable. Anyhow, first 2 cards, student and seeker. And this is about, and I feel most of what is going on for you in the new year has to do with this. It's about learning, opening up to new things, and not just that, because you can of course open up to new things by, for instance, reading or watching a podcast, listening to a podcast or whatever, but then not doing anything. And the idea is that you also take action. Especially also with the seeker, it's about wanting to see and learn things, but it's also about committing when you have found something that resonates, right? Because here the shadow attribute is an inability to commit to a path once found. So it's very important that you devote yourself to it when you find something that really feels good and resonates with you. And so don't give up and don't digress, don't stray from it, follow it through. And it could mean that you have more than one interest, sorry, but that one stands out, and then it might be better to just continue with that one for a while. And you can always pick up on the other ones later on, right? But just so you do not spread yourself thin, spread out too much of your energy, right? And then we have, going on to your next card, that one, DNA, karma. This says that there are certain things that you cannot change, that they are predetermined, but there's also things that you can change once you have come far enough with your growth and awareness. And 2021 is going to be a year for you where you can do things differently. You can break free from default patterns, and especially I feel from your own patterns that you got stuck in, right? We all have our own patterns of doing and thinking and behaving and so on and so forth. And 2021 is going to be an excellent year when you are have grown enough and are ready for it to break free from that. And then we have this card, Earth Magic, Fairies. And that's saying that you do not need to get validation before you can be strong, right? Or powerful and radiant. You do not need anyone's validation for that. The true feeling good and radiant and strong comes from the inside, from your own validation in a way, but not from the outside. And I feel this will also begin to blossom again in the new year, that you will start to feel more radiant and powerful and standing up and shining your light. And yeah, that's because if you can also just not do that and get through the year. It's always a choice, right? But with the first 2 cards, the student and the seeker, there are a lot of options for you to do it differently, to open up to new things and to learn new things and to take action as well. And that part might be the difficult part for you, the taking action, because it's, yeah, like I said, it can be quite easy to learn and learn and learn and still not do anything because of whatever. Maybe you're afraid, maybe you don't feel good enough or whatever. And that's, I feel that's what it's about for a big part as well. But the opportunity definitely is there for in the new year to get going, to start creating, to have something new. And we also see that with, oh, oops, not upside down. This card, Magdalena Bay in Baja, Mexico, I think. I birth new concepts and ideas easily. I'm full of flowfulness in every part of my life. Grace permeates my being. So this is again also about flow, about new things coming easy, and new things will enter your path. Excuse me, but again, only if you are ready for it and if you are willing and to take action. Right? It's going to be a bit more difficult if you, like I said a couple times now, if you don't do anything, if you just sit on your ass and are resistant to move, then it's difficult, right? That's logical, right? I do assume you understand that as well. There is a choice for you here to make. I think my cat wants to go out. I'll do that first. Right, the first of your tarot cards, they can't fit them all in. There is, I think, 9. Anyhow, let's get going. We have the 9 of Cups, the Judgment card, the Temperance card, and the King of Cups to start off with. This is very similar to the Fairies card that we had. It's feeling good, being radiant from the inside out, and yeah, very much like the Fairies. So the message is also the same, right? It's inner strength. It's not needing that external validation from situations or items or people. You feel that on the inside, and you're beaming because of it. And but with the Judgment, I so love the Judgment card. It's an opportunity to have a rebirth, and it can be scary, right? It's because it means you will have to change, you will have to do something different, and that's always scary, right? So it can be a bit scary, but exciting as well at the same time. But there might be something that scares you, which keeps you from taking action, that we spoke of with the first 2 cards. And it's very important that you actually do go there, right? Here, in this is the choice again, right? There is the opportunity, but you have to make the decision that you're going for it. Yeah, I do think most of you will finally have the guts to go there and do it in 2021. And if you do, then you can get a wonderful new start, new whatever, new life almost, right? Recreate a lot and let go of a lot of old things. I'm so sorry, there's a lot of... Anyhow, with the Temperance card, I feel for this reading it means that that it's about knowing you are always one, even through ups and downs. Finding the right balance and blend and ingredients for the desired outcome, for what you want to have. And that leads to manifestation, creation. So that's what that is about. Even if things are not going so well, right? There's always an ebb and flow. So if you're going through an ebb, then still know that you are always one, right? And that staying aligned, centered within yourself. And with this, the King of Cups, is very similar. Being strong and balanced, even when things get rough or move fast. Like he's standing on one leg in this fast flowing stream, right? But he's not losing his balance. He's got it covered. He can handle it. And he can be steady and stable, and I'm saying he now, but it doesn't matter, right? If you're a woman or a man, it's just the dynamics, the energy. So that energy in both cards is a very similar thingy for this reading, that is, right? Yeah, you will be able to do that. But that is, again, if you make the choice to enter that cave, to go to have that change and that wonderful thing happen. And then we have, let's see if I can stick it in without it all falling over. We have the Hermit, and loving yourself exactly how you are. You have gone through an awful lot of development and growth, and that has made you wise beyond your years, maybe even, and now it's time to also love yourself and to follow the path you want to go. And it can be quite a unique path, your own path. But it's following your path, and that's what it's about. That's what's important. And then we have the Two of Pentacles challenge, it says there. I feel that, again, it's doing what's right for you, but having to learn to not really tell others or try to get their validation. And that may sometimes be difficult, but you'll also have to stand your ground if need be, right? And this telling other people, if you start to do something new for you and different for you, and you can be really excited about that, or maybe a bit nervous, and maybe you want someone else's kind of like approval, to hear them say, oh wow, that's great for you, good for you, you go girl, that kind of thing. But it can also be that you get discouraged, because there's often also people who do the same from love, but then come up with stuff like, are you sure you want to do that? I wouldn't do that. I'd wait if I were you, because blah, 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 blah. And then you might get discouraged. Often when you're still in the beginning stages, it's better to not tell anyone. But if you do come across people who try to discourage you for whatever reason, then it is important that you also stand your ground and stay to it. Remain centered. That's actually this again, right? With the Temperance card. Even if there's downs, that you're one, that you don't lose your balance. These two cards, that you don't lose it. No more codependency. So you have to really be strong within, right? Radiate from the inside out, but know that you got you. No wobbling, which we saw here with the King of Cups and the Temperance card. And this is about that as well. This is about, of course, lovers, right? It can be that too. But it also says that there is no more codependency. So you're really not relying on external validation anymore. You feel and create that internally, and that makes you, right? You don't need that anymore. And then it's good if you get it, but you're not dependent on it, right? Even if you don't get it, you will still do what you want to do. That's the difference. And that means that you then get the Queen of Cups. So isn't that wonderful? We have the King of Cups and with the Heron, and now we have the Queen of Cups. So we have the love couple here, in a way. You're coming home to yourself. You're feeling good within, and within yourself and with yourself, and at peace. And that will soften you. It will remove any prickles, if there was still any prickles in your system that other people would react to and make you feel prickly or whatever. These will go. They will just disappear because there's no need for that any longer. And that will result in you becoming more attractive, lovable, desirable, which may then again help, in turn, help with finding friends or a partner if you are single and looking for a partner, or an improvement in your current relationship. And it will enhance all relationships. Not just love, but also friendships, family relationships, and so on and so forth. Because if you lose those prickles and the need for validation and this codependency, and I'm not saying you're very codependent, I'm not saying that at all, but I think most of us have that to some extent. It can be very mild, right? And I completely forgot what I was going to say. But then you're not pulling at anyone anymore either. You know, you can just be you and you allow them to be themselves as well. There's a stress release. Right. And then your last card. Yeah, I'm sorry, you might hear that. I'm getting a phone call. So you might hear bzz, bzz. I wasn't sure what was going on myself for a minute. And then we have your last card, the 5 of Cups. You have an awful lot of cups. I love that. This is, well, look at it. I mean, I don't really have to explain that, do I? You're really feeling good about yourself and you're beaming from the inside out. And also, you're being in feeling in your element. So you're totally confident and happy with you and your life. And it exudes from you, that vibe. And with that, you touch other people. You don't even have to do anything for that. It just happens. Because it's such a powerful energy when you're in that vibration. And yeah, so there is an awful lot of potential for you if you've been wanting to start something, to do something, to have something, to create something, but you've been stalling for whatever reason, maybe for years on end, and not knowing how to get out of that funk. And there's a lot of potential for the 2021 for you to get going with it and to do it. But it's a choice you have to make, right? So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. It's really very positive reading. Now there's these work people outdoors. It's 8:30 in the evening. Oh well, whatever. And this can be about anything, really. It can be the love, romance and stuff, can be in their health. Anything that's important to you. I didn't focus on anything in particular, right? But this is what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Okay, numbers 2. You're reading the first card. Before I start with the cards, because there's a whole lot of cards, I feel for you, 2021, it's going to be very important to stay centered and true to yourself. Sorry, more so than you've ever done before. And that means that you do not prostitute yourself. Now that sounds really horrible, I know, but it's not like about sex, of course, in this sense. It's about doing things for someone else or for a goal or whatever, and it's not really for your highest good. It doesn't really serve you, but you do it then anyway, right? Yeah, now where was I? Yeah, you do not prostitute yourself. If something or someone doesn't feel good, then you do not tell yourself that it's just okay, everything's fine, and it's not bad, and blah, blah, blah. You should stay true to yourself. which also, means listening to your intuition. And maybe you have a tendency to go along with what other people want with the companion card. That is possible. That you tend to do that you tend to not tell or do, make sure that you get what you want, just to please the companion, whomever that may be, right? A friend or a partner or whatever. And I feel that it's mostly with friends in your social circle that could happen. And it doesn't mean to say if stuff like that happens, that doesn't mean that they are doing that. People tend to say that and think that and blame the other person then, right? Because they do that, they're energy vampires, blah blah. Usually it's totally different. Usually it's the person, in this case you, giving your power away. You're allowing that. And that's something to be very mindful of, right? That you have to stay really in 2021, make sure you stay true to you, what you need, what you want, what feels good to you. And that's going to be very important to you. And with the ebb and flow card, that says it's okay to be flexible, to be able to be flexible. And it could even be imperative, right? Because if you're rigid, that usually doesn't work. Also not in social contact, right? If you're very rigid and not willing to accommodate and compromise and so on and so forth, that's also not good. So it is good to be able to be flexible, but in that flexibility, you have to learn to keep your center, to not give in to the other person's need at the expense of your needs and higher good. You must have, anyway, then boundaries, right? Very, very clear boundaries. We should have a certain amount of flexibility, but we should come to a point where it's okay, no further. I can't go any further than this, because otherwise it's gonna be at my expense. And I'm not going to allow that to happen, because I love myself and I know I deserve something better, right? Something like that. It's not always literally in that sense. It depends what it's about, of course. But just know that, right? Because if you this whole story with these two cards doesn't mean to say you have to become rigid and like. I want it like this, and if you're not going to do that, that's also not the idea, right? So you have to be more you have to be flexible, but within that flexibility, find your center and keep your center. I hope I'm clear with that. Your tarot cards. The first one, we have clearance. Well, first stick a few in. There's one more. I'll get to that in a minute. So we have clearance. The first one is the 7 of Wands. Notice when something or someone is off for you. When you lose your inner balance, when it doesn't feel right, then clear that. What doesn't belong in your world. And that's really what that card is about for this reading. And it's very important that you learn to notice that when it's happening, right? And sometimes it takes time to get to that point. Sometimes at first you notice it, like, for instance, a day later when you're looking back at something that happened, and you're like, oh my God, how could I do that again? How could I allow that again? Right. But if you are aware of it, then it will begin to work faster and faster until you've reached a point where you notice it in the moment. And then you can react and deal with it in the moment. And that's great if you can do that. With the 8 of Pentacles, fine-tune what does serve you. Also get clarity on what that is, what does serve you, because maybe you don't even really know very clearly what doesn't and what does serve you. So that's also important, and that could be also this linked to your skills and talents and dreams in your life. Right? Maybe you don't know exactly what these are either. So then in 2021 it's important to figure that out. And if you have figured it out, then just milk it, fine tune it, and get better at it. The Eight of Pentacles, I think. The Eight of Pentacles, hang about. I haven't got an 8. It was that card. I'm sorry. The Page of Swords. Don't need other people's validation. And that's because this wren is a really very small bird, right? It's really small. So it might not get seen very easily. They're really fast. I know I have them in my garden, but to spot them, I find that really difficult. And when my dad was here a couple of years ago, and he spotted them, and he saw them fly and disappear in the hedge, and he actually was the one who told me that I had wrens in my garden, and I'd never even seen them. But the wren is fine with that, right? They know for themselves, and in this case it's you, so you know for yourself that you are important and grand and beautiful and all that stuff, right? That you feel good. You don't need that from the external. So whether you look like, rather inconspicuous and small, it doesn't matter. Because you're still grand, you're big, and you know it, right? And that's good. And cultivating that is also important. And you can do that in the new year. It is possible for you to get there. And it's also agility and again flexibility, which we saw with the ebb and flow. This little bird is very agile and in that sense also very flexible, right? Very fast and moves very easily and swift, and so very flexible. Inner happiness and strength. And do the clearance from this to keep your balance with tact. There's no need for brutal words or to become brutal in a way. You can be tactful. So it's also the birdie, about communication. And if that has been difficult for you, maybe because you didn't have that inner strength developed so well, or because you were pleasing too easily, right? And it will become, it's important for you to learn how to communicate, how to do that, how to speak your truth from the heart and not from the ego. And if you haven't got a clue, for God's sake, just look it up online. There's so much you can find online. You could look into feminine communication then, I suppose, because that is from the heart, right? And that's also for men. Or it's not just for women. It's not just a women thing. It's just that feminine communication is communication from the heart. It's saying how you feel, what you need, and what you don't like, without blaming the other, without making the other react, right? Like because you're lashing out. You don't do that. It's not from the ego. It's a very different way of communicating, and it's absolutely lovely if you can master that. It's wonderful. You get completely different interactions then as well. Anyhow, the strength card. This is the strength card. All that we've gone through will help strengthen your inner strength and your balance. and also learning who you really are and what is good for you, what is not good for you, to get that discernment, to get that clarity on that, and self-esteem, of course, right? Knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are beautiful and that you are important, right? And not giving a toss really about what other people think or say, not so easily anymore. We will always be sensitive to that, but not so easily anymore. And then we have for you the Six of Wands. I'm going to just stick it there. Abundance. Appreciate the little things in life, the seemingly small rewards. Because one day you will look back and you will realize that these were actually the big things. So see those things, see the small things, appreciate the small things. Yeah, and you will be abundant, you will be appreciated, but maybe it will come in different ways than what you expect or want. But you will get what you need though, right? So it will still be okay, it will still be good. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. Now we're going to, oops, let me put it there. Avebury, the standing stones, which is in England, is a double circle, stone circle, very powerful. Again, they sing that don't let others and what they do or want deter you or make you feel off kilter or whatever. Stick to what you need in life, right? Your own, again, the center, your own center. Keep your own center. Even if there have been unpleasant experiences and influences, you can still be strong and connected within. So there's no reason for you to say, yeah, but I had this really bad experience, so I can't do that anymore. Bullshit, you can. You really can. It's just you yourself saying and thinking that you can't and repeating that story, and yeah, right? And it's really nonsense. And that's because Avebury, they try to ruin the power of Avebury by making a road straight through it, through the middle of it, to try to mess with the energy, destroy the energies there. And it doesn't work because it will have wobbled and be affected by it, etc., but eventually it will find its connectiveness, its connectivity, its power, etc. Again, it will. Then we have for you the ancestors. Oh, ancestors card, generations. Feel connected and thus stable and strong on your own, not codependent. So that comes up again. Hold on to or break patterns depending on whether they serve you or not. So if a pattern serves you, you keep it, of course, right? If it doesn't, then break it, let go of it. And whatever it is you're doing and trying to change, it could even be a pattern that runs in your family. It doesn't have to be, but it is possible. And if that is the case, and you may know that yourself, if that is the case, then you will heal that line and you will stop that pattern and change the future for the ones that are coming after you. Isn't that beautiful? You will clear and heal that entire line in the family. Yeah, it can be very powerful. But it can also be different. It depends. It might not be for everyone that it is about family patterns, or you may not know it is a family pattern, you know. Anyhow, your last card we have fire, passion. This speaks of what you are passionate about, what lights you up. And passion doesn't come from the outside, but from the inside. Find what you are passionate about, what inspires you, and find a way to express that. So this is again about what lights you up. So not pleasing other people, doing things for other people or what other people want and need at your expense. No, this is about you. And I feel that's going to be the theme a bit for you in the new year in 2021. This entire process of standing in your power and starting to find out what it is that your passion is that lights you up, and start doing that as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. All right, number 3. Well, I'm just going to start. It's likely going to be 2 recordings, and I'm very sorry about that, but I'd rather do that than just make it a very short, abridged version. But anyhow, we're going to get going with it. If so, then there will be links, of course, so you do not have to search for it. This is peculiar. With your cards, there are 2 wolves in there. And I get the feeling for you, 2021, it has a lot to do with letting go of control, surrendering, taking a leap of faith, going with the flow, and learning things will work out naturally and effortlessly. And that comes up with the wolves telling you to trust your intuition, to let go of set ways, and you may have been following set ways, right? But to be still and quiet and feel what you should do. Because if you do that, then you start letting go of control and go with the flow more, right? Anyhow, let's see if these come up in later on. First, now we're gonna go to these 2 cards. We have Heroine and Martyr. Hero, Heroine, Martyr. With the Heroine, you can be climbing. We got that with this card as well. Let me put that here first for now. The 10 of Wands. You can be climbing up a mountain towards your dream and achievements and feeling good about yourself and life, but make sure you use your heart and intuition as a compass, so you don't take the route of escapism or ego-based things. It's not about validation or obtaining success or money. It's about you being happy, right? Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And it's about being happy. And eventually, when you grow and evolve, etc., being of service to yourself and the world and your dream and living your dream and so on and so forth. So there is this thing about climbing up, going higher, and which can be strenuous, right? And climbing that mountain, it can also be great fun. A lot of people do that for fun, right? So it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm never gonna make it. It can actually be a lot of fun, as long as you do it from the right driving thingy, right? That you're driven by desire from the heart and from your intuition, and not from the ego. And and also the right path is just not plodding like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, hope I didn't give you a scare there. This is more like the plodding. And with the 10 of Wands, it really will feel effortless. That's why I love that card. I just really love it. It will feel effortless. Even when things will get a bit more difficult, maybe. It will still feel good. It will still feel effortless. Because you know why you're doing it and what you're doing it for. And it will be full of promise to the new. It will have that in it. And if you are doing it from the right thing, from the heart and from intuition and all that stuff, and from your dream and from, then you will feel that. You will feel the promise of that new. And that will help you to keep going and to keep at it. And then we have the Five of Pentacles. Know what to steer clear of, and also do that when necessary, right? Trust that you can take care of yourself. And don't put your foot into feeling sorry for yourself, as part of your journey or parts of your journey may be a bit lonely. And or may feel a bit lonely. It doesn't have to be that you are lonely, but it may feel a bit lonely. And I don't think that will last, but it may, as long as you are going through this learning curve, because I do think it's a bit of a learning curve. And we also have the Tower, and dare to let go, to release yourself from set patterns and being stuck in situations. And it might seem scary to take that step, and your world may appear to go upside down and inside out, but that's only for a very short moment of transition, which transition usually goes hand in hand with temporary chaos. Don't fear that chaos. Stability and the new will rise from that. It always goes like that. Everything goes like that, right? And new things, beautiful things always come after chaos. So don't fear it. And the Empress, we have the Empress. Trust that you can do this, that you got you. Even when you don't see the result right away, right? Because patience, you need to have patience. If you feel that maybe you took a wrong turn because nothing seems to be happening, there's no result, and then if that happens, go back inward, quiet down, slow down, and tune into your intuition and feel. Ask your inner guidance. It will let you know if you are still on that right track or not. And I feel that 9 out of 10 times you will still be on the right track, but you might panic because you do not see the results. And this is the Empress, right? Number 3. And the Empress is pregnant, and you don't see your baby. You have to wait 9 months for that. So you have to wait 9 months for the result to see. So you have to give it time. You have to trust, because it will come. Trust that it will come. Know that it will come. It's all going to be fine. And then we might actually make it. Unreal. We have your magnetic South Pole, the last card. It's a similar thing, it's said with this card, as with the Empress. You may not get external stability. You must find it within. The poles are always moving to another place. And there's always a push-pull in the two poles, in between the two poles. I feel that has to do with the speed with which you will go through the process. There may be times where you almost stand still, and times when you will really soar through the skies. And the standing still times are when you integrate. And it may appear then that nothing is happening, but that's not true. That's the same thing with the Empress, right? The push-pull is also the pulse of life. So there is the mystery thing. Mystery is a part of life. It is acceptable not to know. And this is going to be really very important for you in 2021. Let go of control. Learn to trust. Learn to feel. And your intuition, your inner guidance, and so on and so forth. And then there is this promise of something beautiful, new coming from that. So yeah, this was fast. I can't help it. I have done all your cards and I have done all the messages. I hope it resonates, and I'm gonna thank you for watching before the video cuts out. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye.